Hello and welcome to the third session introducing the IB Psychology course. In the first two sessions, we discussed what you are going to learn in the IB Psychology course. In this session, you will assess your recall of the previous sessions and you will be introduced to assessment in the IB Psychology course, Paper 1, Paper 2 and Paper 3. Before introducing the assessment in the IB Psychology course, please complete the following task. Which of these elements apply to both standard and higher level students, and which only apply to higher level students? Sociocultural approach, research methods, animal research, paper 3, ethical considerations, second option. Pause the video and continue watching after you give your answers. Research methods, ethical considerations and the sociocultural approach apply to both standard and higher level students. The same is true for biological and cognitive approaches. On the other hand, animal research, second option and paper 3 only apply to higher level students. Assessment in the IB Psychology course consists of papers and internal assessment. This session deals with the papers and the next session is about internal assessment. Paper 1 is worth 50% of standard level students' IB Psychology grades. Paper 2 and internal assessment are worth 25% each. For higher level students, Paper 1 is worth 40% of the grade. Papers 2 and 3 and internal assessment are worth 20% each. Before we discuss Paper 1 in more depth, please complete the following task, which is related to Paper 1 material. For each question, pause the video and continue watching after you give your answer. There are 4 approaches to understanding behavior in the IB Psychology course. True or false? The statement is false. There are 3 approaches: biological, cognitive and sociocultural. Each approach in the IB Psychology course consists of broader topics, which consist of specific content. True or false? The statement is true. Evolutionary explanations for behavior is a part of the genetics and behavior topic. True or false? The statement is true. Students need to know research methods and ethical considerations of investigating digital technology. True or false? The statement is false. Students do not need to know ethical considerations of investigating digital technology. In Paper 1, Section A, you will need to answer 3 short answer questions. Each answer should take you about 20 minutes to write and include between 250 and 350 words. Each question is worth 9 marks. In this section, 1 question will refer to the biological approach, 1 to the cognitive, and 1 to the sociocultural. Each question will combine one of the 3 command terms, outline, describe, or explain, with a content or topic heading or a specific content term. Questions on ethical considerations or research methods will be formulated using the topic headings. Here are some example questions for Paper 1, Section A. With reference to one study, outline the effect of one agonist or one antagonist on human behavior. Agonists and antagonists are specific terms related to neurotransmitters. Describe one study investigating reconstructive memory. Explain one cultural dimension with brief reference to one relevant study. In order to score top marks for a short answer question, your response needs to be fully focused on the question and meet the command term requirements. Your knowledge and understanding needs to be accurate and address the main topics or problems identified in the question. Your response also needs to be supported by appropriate research, which is described and explicitly linked to the question. In Paper 1, Section B, you will need to write one of the 3 offered essays. The essay should take you about 60 minutes to write and include between 750 and 1000 words. Essays are scored up to 22 marks. One essay question will refer to the biological approach, 1 to the cognitive, and 1 to the sociocultural. Each essay question will combine a command term, such as evaluate, discuss, to what extent, or contrast, with a content or topic term. Questions on ethical considerations or research methods will be formulated using the topic headings. For higher level students, at least one essay will reference the additional higher level topic. Here are some example questions for Paper 1 Section B. Discuss how animal research may provide insight into human behavior. This question is from the higher level extension and would not be possible for standard level students to get. Discuss two or more ethical considerations in research investigating emotion and cognition. Evaluate social identity theory with reference to one or more studies. In order to score top marks for an essay in Paper 1 Section B and Paper 2, you need to explain the problem or issue raised in the question. Your response also needs to demonstrate relevant and detailed knowledge and understanding, and you need to use psychological terminology appropriately. You also need to use relevant psychological research in support of the response. Explain it thoroughly and effectively, and use it to develop the argument. In addition, your response consistently needs to demonstrate well-developed critical thinking. Evaluation or discussion of relevant areas needs to be consistently well-developed. Finally, your answer needs to demonstrate organization and clarity throughout the response. Before we discuss Paper 2 in more depth, please complete the following task, which is related to Paper 2 material. For each question, pause the video and continue watching after you give your answer. How many options are there in the IB Psychology course? A. 4, B. 3, C. 2, or D. 5? There are 4 options in the IB Psychology course: abnormal psychology, developmental psychology, health psychology, and psychology of human relationships. Which of the following is not an option in the IB Psychology course? A. Psychology of human relationships, B. Abnormal psychology, C. Health psychology, or D. Psychology of globalization? Psychology of globalization is not an option. Globalization is a higher level extension in the sociocultural approach. How many topics does each option in the IB Psychology course consist of? A. 5, B. 2, C. 4, or D. 3? Each option consists of 3 topics, and each topic consists of several content points. Which option is childhood trauma a part of? A. Psychology of human relationships, B. Abnormal psychology, C. Health psychology, or D. Developmental psychology? Childhood trauma is a part of the developmental psychology option. Which of the following is a part of the abnormal psychology option? A. Risk and protective factors, B. Gender identity and social roles, C. Classification systems, or D. Why relationships change? Classification systems are a part of the abnormal psychology option. In Paper 2, each of the 12 essay questions will refer to one of the topics within the 4 options: abnormal psychology, developmental psychology, health psychology, psychology of human relationships. Each essay question will combine a command term, evaluate, discuss, to what extent, or contrast, with a content or topic term. Questions on ethical considerations, research methods, or approaches will be formulated using the topic headings. Standard level students will need to write 1 essay, whilst higher level students will need to write 2 essays from different options. 1 essay should take you about 60 minutes to write and include between 750 and 1000 words. Essays are scored out of 22 marks. The grading criteria are the same as for essays in Paper 1 Section B. Here are some example Paper 2 questions from the abnormal psychology option. Note that each is from a different topic in the abnormal psychology option. Discuss the role of 2 or more clinical biases in diagnosis. To what extent do sociocultural factors influence the etiology of abnormal psychology? Discuss the role of culture in the treatment of 1 or more disorders. In the last part of this session, we will discuss Paper 3. Before we do that, please answer the following questions which are related to paper 3. 1. Which research methods will you study in IB Psychology? 2. What are some ways to find participants for a study or sampling techniques? Pause the video and continue watching after you give your answers. In the IB Psychology course, you will study the following research methods: surveys, correlational studies, various types of experiments, naturalistic observations, interviews and case studies. Sampling techniques include convenience or opportunity, volunteer or self-selected, random, purposive and snowball. In paper 3, higher level students will need to demonstrate their knowledge of research methods, ethical considerations and sampling techniques, among other things. Drawing from the stimulus material, which is a previously unseen study, students are required to answer 3 short answer questions from a list of 6 questions on research methods. Question 1 is worth a total of 9 marks, with 3 questions each worth 3 marks. Question 2 is worth 6 marks, and question 3 is worth 9 marks. Question 1 includes the following 3 questions. Identify the research method and outline 2 characteristics of the method. Describe the sampling method used in the study. Suggest one alternative or one additional research method that could be used to investigate the same aim of the original study, giving one reason for your choice. Question 2 includes one of the following 2 questions. Describe the ethical considerations that were applied in the study and explain if further ethical considerations could be applied. Or, describe the ethical considerations in reporting the results and explain additional ethical considerations that could be considered when applying the findings of the study. The third question will be one of the following 3 questions. Discuss the possibility of generalizing or transferring the findings of the study. Or, discuss how a researcher could ensure that the results of the study are credible. Or, discuss how the researcher in the study could avoid bias. We have reached the end of this session in which you were introduced to papers 1, 2 and 3. The next session will deal with internal assessment.